that extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.
All right, welcome to another episode of Behind the Gear, and today we're super lucky. We are sitting with Bulbul Kartanbay, who goes by B, and she is the basically the first female professional hockey player out of Kazakhstan, which I was very intrigued by your story when I started looking it up and kind of reading about you and stuff. It was really cool to hear about, first of all, hockey in Kazakhstan, which is awesome. And then yourself and kind of your story coming out of Kazakhstan and moving to North America. But before we get into all that, how are you doing, B, and how are things in Kazakhstan right now?
Hey, it's really nice to meet you, and thank you for having me on your podcast. Well, right now in Kazakhstan, everything going slow, and lots of rinks is shut down. Some of them work, but we still has all this difficult stuff. People go and vaccinated little by little.
Yeah. Okay. And is that the kind of the, I know in Canada, we're all kind of hungry, not hungry, but we're all waiting for the vaccine and hoping that, we can kind of get most of us vaccinated in order to kind of get things reopened and get things moving again. Is that kind of the same thing in Kazakhstan? Is there a big push by the government to get people vaccinated?
Yeah, it is. And, you guys have a Pfizer or some of different vaccine, but we got vaccine from Russian.
Okay.
From Russia. So I don't know. Right now, like they told all athletes that we have to do it, but I'm just waiting because I don't know. I'm a little scared to get vaccinated, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Not to get too like conspiracy theory, but yeah, if there's just one drug from Russia, I mean, yeah, if there's no option, that definitely can be a little sketchy, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Scary, yeah. For sure. Now, you mentioned some of the rinks are open, some of the rinks are closed. I know here in our area anyway, we went into lockdown a couple weeks ago now. So like all the rinks have been shut down again here for the last couple of weeks and probably for at least another month. So none of our rinks are open at all. Now, you said there are a couple rinks. Now, how big is the city that you're in right now? Because you're in the capital, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have 5-6 rinks only.
That's it, right? And how many people live in the capital roughly?
Oh, to be honest, I have no idea.
But like we're talking millions, probably, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Probably millions and millions.
Okay, so just to put things into perspective a little bit, you've got 5 rinks for millions of people in the capital of Kazakhstan, a big city, obviously. We've got a city here in London of probably 400,000 people, right? So maybe 500 if you go outskirts 20-30 minutes, right? But we've got probably 30 hockey arenas within that, like that we can access. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, right? When you think of like so hockey's not big in Kazakhstan, or it's getting bigger, I'm sure. But how did you get involved in it? Like, how did you, being a young girl in Kazakhstan, how did you get involved? How did you find it? How did this whole thing come about?
So, well, I was born in a small village in Kazakhstan. It's really like so far from big cities, and there was like section like sport for boys only, like boxing, wrestling. And from my childhood, I was want to be a sportsman, like athlete. I was want to get medals and cups and win. And then we went to the bigger city. There was a soccer team. I started to play soccer, and then it was hard to combine soccer with my school schedule. Yeah. And then my mother, she find out a sports school. So we went to this sports school, and they said, well, we don't have female soccer team, we have female hockey team. And my family is like traditional Kazakh family, and they don't know what it is. And I said, okay, I can try, because I never heard about hockey, anything.
Oh, way.
So yeah, I was 13 and I went to this school, and they gave me like a pair of skates, helmet, and I started to skate. And I think it was amazing, because I remember how I was enjoyed. I was like to skate. I have no idea what it is hockey, but I was love to skate, and they started to give me gear because I had a like a result, how would say, I had a good opportunity to grow as an athlete.
Yeah.
So they started giving me gear, elbow pads, knee pads, little by little, and then I started to play hockey.
That's crazy, man. So at first, basically, they just gave you skates and said, "Here, we'll see how long she lasts on the ice." And then they actually probably saw you had potential. That wow, she's picking this up. Like she's actually getting good at this. So let's give her some let's give her some proper equipment so she can
Yeah.
play. That's crazy, man. And 13, it's funny. I started hockey when I was 9, so I was late to the game. And obviously, in Canadian standards, you'd be very late to the game. I was very
Yes.
late to the game, right? But the one thing I find when kids start a little bit later, especially for you, I'm assuming you were very athletic, so you probably picked up skating pretty good. And because the hardest part of hockey, let's be honest, is skating, and then figuring out the stick and the puck comes after that. But being able to stand up on those small blades is not easy. So
Right.
but a lot of times when kids pick it up a little bit later, like yourself at 13, I find you're more athletic, you're smarter, you can kind of comprehend things a little bit more. And you kind of, so for you, when you started to get it, how quickly did you get better? Like how fast, like, let's say, was it within that year that you were able to kind of like jump into a practice and kind of play a little bit with the girls team there?
Yeah, so I went to this school in summer, and we didn't had ice time. Ice time we started to in September,
Yeah.
and then like over the year, for the next year, I started to play on the school hockey team, and then after, so at 16, I started to play in. I made a junior national team, so that's quick.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So within 3 years, you were playing on the junior national team.
I wasn't expected I will play. I didn't see myself like I'm in the first 10 players who will play. I just did myself. I had fun, and one day coach said, "Hey, do you want to try?" I said, "Sure." Like why not? Like,
Yeah.
and then they put me to the roster, and with girls who more serious and play more time.
That's really cool. Now, being part of the national team in Kazakhstan, like how many female hockey players make up the national program? So like, when you think of the junior team to the national to the national team for the women's, how many girls are there that are in that mix or that are in that program?
So we had 171 girls
Okay.
from for whole country.
Yeah.
you
Okay. Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we have so we had 5 teams. We have 2 professional teams and 3 school teams.
Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah. And what would you say, like you've been in North America, you've played, professionally over here. What would you say the skill, like the caliber of those girls are? And this isn't a knock on the girls at all, but like as far as even the younger girls to the professional girls, is it a big, are the top end girls in Kazakhstan competitive with the top end girls in Calgary or in Canada, or would there be a little bit of a difference there?
So obviously, obviously, I think like Canada is heard of hockey because hockey was born in Canada, and we admire Canada because, especially when you play hockey. So I can tell we played on the Universiade 2017 with Canadian team, and it was really, how to say, I felt these differences between our teams.
Yeah.
They're in top division, and we are on the first division, Group B, and I can tell that younger girls can compete, but like until 13, 14 years. But in Canada, they are doing junior national team, and they have to select it to roster, and they're looking for a good players from whole country, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have that opportunity. That's why if we're talking about junior national team or national team, we are a little, how to say, we have less opportunity, and we have really less people who would like to play professional.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, which totally makes sense. Yeah. There's not as much demand there, right? For the girls, And I'm sure it's the same for the guys, right? Like how big is that pool for the national team for the men's side? Is there a lot more boys playing hockey and men playing hockey in Kazakhstan than there are females, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so right now hockey is going really popular, especially for kids. We have thousands and thousands kids who play hockey, and there is like 10 cities who has their clubs and their hockey academy. For right now in capital city, we have a Baris KHL team, and we have Baris Hockey School, which have like 5,000 kids probably.
Wow, it's
So
crazy. And
yeah,
are
for
those
kids it's more
yeah,
better.
and there's obviously there's opportunity to train and practice and skate, right? Like you're saying the like I guess basically like the hockey or the athlete academy that you went to, like the school. Is there a lot of academies like that in Kazakhstan for a variety of different sports?
For different sports, yes, but for hockey only few.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I know that makes sense for sure. Cause that's something too it wasn't popular in Canada like 5, 10 years ago. And now, in the last probably decades, the last 10 years, there's been way more hockey academies that have popped up here. And I know a lot of other
Right.
countries have done this for a long time. And yeah, we just, for whatever reason, we always kind of, not, I don't want to say take it for granted, but hockey was so ingrained in our culture and our communities that parents didn't feel like you had to go to hockey academy. And now you're seeing, a lot more kids, especially higher end kids that are now going to these hockey academies and having hockey as part of their school day, which I think is great, especially if you love the
Yes.
sport.
It is great, yes.
Yeah, well, totally. Now for you, I guess what's it like being a national athlete in Kazakhstan? So I know in Canada, if you're part of the like that Olympic stream or being on the national program, you're called the carded athlete. So you get a small stipend, basically a little bit of a small salary. But most of our Canadian athletes, unfortunately, have to work or have to get another job. So what's it like for you in Kazakhstan for training and being a carded athlete or a national team athlete?
So for right now, yeah, we have salary, but not that much
Yeah.
because we are like women's hockey, and uh, I can tell that we still have to work. Like we are professional athletes. We doing everything for our national team, but we still have to work, and we still have regular work, and we do practicing, and we're trying to combine everything, and that's why like this year I was joined for PWHPA because they are fighting for gender equal and for salaries. I think that's really great uh, path what they're doing right now.
No, I totally agree. I think it's huge, right? And you just said it. You said, I don't we don't get paid much because we're girl athletes, for a hockey, right? Which probably isn't your, national sport in Kazakhstan, but still, like
Yes.
you're right though, and that was a big thing that I know that the women's hockey leagues here and the PWHA did a lot of like really pushing for that kind of that equal that balance between salaries and getting paid a little bit more and even just getting treated properly. I don't know if you saw there was a picture that went out at one of the big tournaments here. They had like the it was I believe it was the March Madness, so basketball, but they had the men's basketball teams all set up and their gym was sick. It was like a big gym, bunch of squat racks, the whole nine, and then a girl took a picture of their gym and it was like a couple dumbbells and mats on the ground. Like it was a
Right,
joke.
right.
And this is 2021.
Oh my
So
God.
and then within the next 24 hours, some big company stepped up and outfitted the women's gym properly. But that to me is like makes no sense. Like how we don't treat our athletes the same, despite genders. You know what I mean? And I understand the financial part of it, where okay, maybe the men's side will bring in more money, but there's got to be a way to make this all work where you know they especially in hockey, let's say, where the NHL can support, and that's starting to happen, which is great. But
Yes.
almost making it like a combined, it's a business together. It's a men's and
Yes.
women's side that work together and try to try to build that brand and try to build that even the awareness of hockey, because even like you said, I mean, hockey in Kazakhstan is getting a little bit bigger, right? Like you've probably seen growth since you were a kid till now, where more females have an opportunity to play hockey that wasn't there before, right?
Yeah, especially now because when I made NHL, when I made the Riveters team, And then in last summer, I made a head coach of Princeton community. Like it was a great for whole country, great news for whole country, and people, girls start to get inspired. And right now, like in capital city, lots of girls wanna play hockey because they like it and they wanna try themselves on this sport.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Now, what's it like for you when you're at the arenas and kind of, I know if you're walking, and maybe I'm speaking off here, but if you're walking down the streets, would people recognize you as, oh my God, there's that, in your home country, would they recognize you like that? Or is it more in your bubbles in the arenas and stuff like that?
Well, sometimes people like taking picture with me, like, "Hey, I know you, I follow you," or "Hey, I saw you on TV. Hey, I was reading about you on internet," and something like this, And I appreciate, and I'm trying to talk with them a little bit. So, but I did the charity tournament March 8th, dedicated for International Women's Day, and everything was for free. Kids was just need to come, play, and win some money, and 50% of money went for helping one kid. He was a hockey player, but right now he's sick. But so I'm doing all this stuff, and all people knowing me better, and going involved for what I'm doing and trying to help. And it's how to say, it's for me it's little different. Like 3 years ago, no one didn't know me. I was just playing my capital city. I was a captain of my team. I played good. I played well. I still was on my national team, but there is no people who know about women's hockey in Kazakhstan, and right now it's different.
Yeah. Now, what changed that? Was it you coming over to North America and taking that jump and signing a professional contract? Is that kind of what kind of helped propel you a little bit as far as, oh my God, she went to Canada, she went to the United States? Like, did that kind of give you more of a platform, I guess? Is that kind of when people started to really take notice?
Yes, people at least start to know that we have a women's hockey in Kazakhstan,
Right. Yeah. Because I think even in Canada and the US, I'm sure when you went over and you're like, I'm from Kazakhstan, and you're like, what? Like, where are you from? Like, because I think for a lot of us, and we're ignorant, like a lot of us are just, we live in our bubbles of Canada. We've been, I've traveled quite a bit, but there's a lot of areas of the world I don't know anything about. So when I started to read up on you, I'm like, man, I want to find out more about Kazakhstan. Like, what's it like there? And I knew that you guys had professional teams and stuff, but to be honest, I didn't know a lot about it. So I think, yeah, this is really, really cool just to kind of get to know obviously yourself, but and how how things work in different countries, and how the sport that we love with hockey, how it is being affected, and how it is growing in different areas, which is awesome to hear.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the first time I went to Canada and then I went to US. So Canada was really great, I would say, life school for me. I get so much lessons. Everything was so much different. Your culture, I know English because of Canada, because my first 3 months I was learn English like fast. Everything was on English. I was stay with people who talk on English. I was practicing with people who talk on English. So everything, like, it was hard, but right now I'm grateful for this time in Canada. And when I'm always like thinking about Canada, I'm always smiling because it was great, like how to say, studying, learning for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, you speak English very, very well, and I always joke with people, if I was in the middle of Kazakhstan trying to speak, your language, I'd be lost, right? Like, I'd be lost. So, yeah, I mean, learning a new language, going to a new country, and falling into, it's like me going to Europe and playing soccer. I'd be like a fish out of water. I'd be like, what am I doing here? And I think it's, that's what I guess, going back to what you're saying, what made you decide to make that jump? Like, were you recruited? Because did you start off in Calgary? Is that kind of where you first came over to Canada, or where were you when you first came over? Yeah, Calgary, right?
Yes. So I started play hockey when I was 13 years old, and then I made junior team, and then when I was 18, like all this way, until 20 years old, I was fight with my family with these stereotypes that if you are a woman, especially Kazakh woman, you have to finish your school, you have to go to college, get married, have a baby, and just live life.
Yeah.
I was always fight for my rights, that I have a choice. I have a choice to combine everything what I want. I want to travel. I want to achieve more. I want to represent my country and play hockey. So, and I quit hockey when I was 18 because of my family. And I went to college. I tried it for 1 year, and it was so much terrible. I lost myself. And then I get back to hockey when I was 20, after 2 years ago, because in capital cities, the KHL opened up the female Paris team. So
Okay.
and then I started play hockey again. Like it was 2015, 2014, and in 2015 this opened it up NHL and WHL. They opened their teams. And then I remember this because we was in locker room and we was laughing like, hey, can you imagine that we will play in this league? No, no, never. We was just
Right.
laughing and just like hang out. And then in 2017, I met with Semi Jo Small.
Yep.
She went to Astana, Nur Sultan right now, and there was a 25 years friendship between Kazakhstan and Canada, and they did big event. There was lots of hockey stars from all over the world, and I had a chance to play on one ice with Semi Jo Small and all these hockey stars. And then, like my mom, she was no English well. She was talk well, and she started to talk with Semi Jo about me. Like, hey, I have this girl. Maybe she can go somewhere. And she gave some advice. She showed the CWHL website and WHL website, and they said, here, like you can try. I can't promise you anything, but you can try. So after that, I put my dream on a goal, and I write everything, like I write a plan step by step. What should I do? Where should I go? And I never didn't expect that problem will be not how I play, problem will be in documents. So
Right.
first time when I get drafted in 2017, I didn't get a US visa. It was so terrible. I was like, it's unlucky, and it's
Yeah.
like why, like I'm a athlete, I just want to play, why you cannot give me some documents? And then like a general manager of Calgary Inferno, she found my tweet in Twitter. I
Yeah.
don't use much Twitter, but you guys use it.
Yeah.
So she just tweeted me like, hey, try to go to Calgary next year. And we started to work with her. So Kristen Hack, she was general manager of Calgary Inferno. So she was the first woman who was open this door for me.
Amazing, man. That is so cool. That's unfortunate. And I don't know I couldn't tell you anything about the government side because the government is like the craziest. Like I don't understand it, but yeah, not being able to not being able to get a visa it was weird to me, especially as an athlete, coming across to play hockey. But I guess it kind of is what it is. Now with your family, just going back to kind of what you said earlier, you kind of broke the tradition, let's call it, right? And I love that. I love the fact that you're, an independent, strong woman that's like, no, I want to live my life the way I want to live it. How was your family when you decided to like quit hockey? That's fine. You go to school. You're like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going back to hockey. I'm going back to the life that I want to live. How was your family with all that? Were they upset with you, or did it kind of all work out? Did they support you, or were they unsupportive?
They was mad at me, and only my mother, she packed my stuff because the team opened it up in different cities, so I was have to move. And
Yeah.
my mom gave me some money, give me my stuff, and said, "Hey, if you want to, you have to go." And I I think everything happened like this because of my mom, because she was believing me. Even my family thought it's not the right choice.
Yeah.
And right now, in 2021, like coming back to Kazakhstan, I see lots of girls who play different sports like rugby, hockey, wrestling, boxing, and they combine it little by little. And I'm glad that this barrier that you are female, that you are a woman, it's going a little bit, it's on the past.
Man, and you are a huge part of that, like your story. And even like, I know you said, oh, I'm not on Twitter very much, but and this is something for, I think, a lot of young athletes, right? I think I've obviously, whenever I have a guest on, I don't do a ton of homework or a ton of digging, but I'll look around just to see what's out there and read some articles and things like that. And your Twitter and stuff is very tasteful. Like you do a really good job of on your social media, promoting hockey, promoting being a female, and even in your posts and stuff, you can see like you're a strong, attractive athlete, which is awesome. Like, and nobody uses that, you know what I mean? I think for young athletes, it's being tasteful and using your strengths to promote the game, to promote yourself, to promote your brand. And obviously that that created a bit of an opportunity for you, right? Somebody heard about you, checks you out on social media, sends you a message, and next thing you know, you're in Calgary, which is
right,
kind of crazy. And big props to your mom, because I think it's really important to have obviously family is huge and having that support is massive, but for you to be able to kind of break through that and say, you know what, I don't care if you're mad at me or if you're mad because I'm making this decision, but I'm going to go, and good for your mom to kind of be by your side, obviously, because that's obviously a huge reason why you are where you are right now, for sure.
Yeah, because so Kazakhstan and Canada, it's a whole different story between. And to fly to Canada, it was get a visa, get a flight tickets, get a couple months to stay, and just train and not work. It's a big deal for Kazakhstan. So the one thing is really that's why I'm doing it, because my mom helped me. And the thing is, we had just only one apartment in Kazakhstan, and my mom went to the bank and get loan on this apartment, and she got money for me to travel to Canada. So that's why when I fly to Canada, I didn't have chance go back, because my mom pushed me and gave me everything that she can. That's why I did. I think that's why I'm still continuing my path.
Yeah, no, for sure. She put a little bit of pressure on you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, it's great. And the other thing too, I want to touch on that I love when you said this was you and the girls were joking around while playing in the oh man, imagine playing pro in Canada. That'd be crazy. And then, then you kind of met, Sammy Joe and had a little bit of a plan. And then you set out because I think this is the big thing with a lot of players. They see the NHL or the WNHL. They're like, well, how do I get there? Well, yeah, it seems really hard, and it's very, very hard to do that or make that. But man, if you lay it out step by step, that makes that jump a lot easier than just playing there from where you are now. So for you, I just really, and you don't have to go into crazy depth, but when you wrote out your goals and stuff of like, hey, I'm here now, I want to get to the play, playing the WNHL. What were some of those things? Because I think a lot of players miss some of those steps. You know what I mean? They don't realize, okay, I got to train every day. I got to eat properly. I got to sleep properly. I've got to try to make this team. I've got to try to, so how did you kind of lay it out as far as, if I want to play with the best of the best, this is what I'm going to have to do to get there?
So the first step, like, you have to accept your fear, like, because mentally, if you're not ready, you never will go forward. Uh, I learned it for myself because I had all this stuff, and I accepted my fear. I said, yes, I have it, but I want to go. Like, I have it with me on my backseat driver, but a rule of this car it's like on me, and I have to go. And I just did it like for NWHL. I went to Minnesota for 3 months, and I was work hard. I had twice time in a day, dream every day, every single day. I didn't have day offs. And then there was tryouts in the end of June or July, tryouts for Buffalo, tryouts for Whitecaps, tryouts for Riveters team. And I went to all of them because I said, well, I don't want to put my all my eggs to one bucket, or how it says.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah.
And like I want to do everything what I can, and let's see what will happen. So obviously when I went to try out, I was look around for a couple minutes because I thought like I was watch how girls is strong, how fast they are, this all body contacts. But you know, the Canada, again, going back to Canada, like when I was trying out for Calgary Inferno team,
Yeah.
I played on one ice with Olympian champions, with world champions, and they really play like a boys, you know, full body contact and everything.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and after that, I opened my eyes that I have to be stronger than I am, and I was work on it. And then I went to try out, and finally I had two contracts, like from Buffalo Beauty and Riveters.
That's amazing, man. That's awesome. But I think, yeah, I love how you started that with the fear. I think you're right. I think a lot of us are scared, right? You set a goal and you're like, there's no way I'll ever be able to do that. And that fear kind of stops us a little bit. And I think that's, that I wouldn't even have put that as my step number one. And I think that should be my step number one is deal with the mental part of it first to overcome that. And then the rest comes a little bit easier. But getting a chance to, I guess, measure yourself against some of those players in Canada, like you said, is probably a good eye opener for you as far as just seeing where you are and where some of your strengths are and where some of your weaknesses are. And like you said, I've got to get more physical. Because man, a lot of people who've never watched women's hockey or don't know a lot about it, women's hockey is an aggressive game, man. It's got tons of contact. There's tons of like hitting and bumping and it plays along the wall. And, it's awesome to watch. It's a fun game to watch, but I know they say there's no contact in women's hockey, but clearly there's a lot of contact in women's hockey. Then so you get a chance to play with the Riveters and have kind of your first year, and then was kind of cut short a little bit with an injury, right? And how did that kind of all come about, and what happened there?
So the thing is, I made a team, and I started again have this fear because I had attention, that much attention from whole country, you know, from different other countries, because they said, hey, you're a girl from Kazakhstan. They gave us inspiring, and we believe that we can do the same thing. And it was like, you know, it was on my shoulders, all attention,
Yeah.
and people expecting something. And you know, in my head I saw like I have to work harder than everyone because I'm from Kazakhstan. They play hockey for 25 years, and I play hockey only for 13, 14 years, and all this stuff. But the thing is, like, I didn't had car to drive for extra practice. I didn't have documents for buy even a car. So was really stressful because we had the team ice time only 2 times in a week.
Yeah.
And I understand for myself that I have to practice 7 times in a week if I want to play, and if I want to play better, you know. And then like I started play on the third line, and everything went well. In the end of December, I felt myself that I'm in great shape ever. Like I was fast, I was quick, my reaction was like really great. And I get my car. And the stupid thing is, like, in the December 31st, it was like New Year Day.
Yeah.
At 6 a.m. I woke up and went to ice practice because there's no days off for me, because I was so much want to play. And after ice practice, I was drive to home, and I had car accident, and I was so much upset about it.
No way. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Now, did you end up staying there like for the remainder of the season, or did you end up coming home early that year? Or?
So first of all, I opened my eyes in ambulance, like, oh my God, where I am,
Yeah.
you know. And it was holidays. No one didn't know what's going on. And
Right.
then I was stay with host family, and I wasn't able to, you know, drive. I wasn't able to watch, I don't know, on the lights.
Yeah.
I was need to go always have a glasses, black glasses on me, like I was need to wear headphones like this because I had a really really bad concussion.
Yeah.
So for 2 months I was just at home, eat, sleep, all this stuff, depression, and the doctors didn't let me do anything because of my bad situation.
Yeah.
And then it was almost end of season, and I said, well, what should I do? Should I go home or no? And general manager of my team of Riveters, she said, hey, B, you still part of our team. Like, stay with us, watch our game, come and support us. And I stayed until end of season like that.
Good. Man, you know what? Like any injury, and that's got to be so frustrating because, first of all, it sounds like you didn't really go out and party for New Year's Eve. You ended up getting up early the next day to go to the rink, which is awesome. But being at the top of your game, feeling like you're in good shape, your reaction time's good, you feel fast, and then, having an incident, accident happen outside the rink or even on the ice, doesn't matter how it happens, but getting injured sucks. Like that's the worst, man. And you mentioned it quickly, but the kind of the dark places that you go when you're injured, right? When you get pulled away from the team like that, you're stuck on the couch in dark rooms wearing sunglasses. Like, you talked about a little bit of depression, no doubt. Like for sure, you're going to be, down in the dumps, and it's hard to like see the light, right? Say like, I'm going to be
Right.
up to play again, So when did that kind of turn around for you? Was it like when you got back around the team and stuff, did that obviously help your kind of your spirits a little bit and lift you up a little bit?
Well, I think how would say, so for 2 months,
Yeah.
2 or 3 months, I was in depression, and I was actually ready to quit. But then I didn't enjoy the life, and everything was so bad, so dark. And I just was lay down in my bed and asked myself, like, I really want to live life like this. Can
Right.
I just stop be a like sad person and do something for myself? And then like I started little by little think about future, like what I'm gonna do, what is my mission. Like every like younger girl in Kazakhstan, if they are looking at me, what I can say, what I can tell them when I'll get back. So I think I was thinking about my country, about my family, about my mom, and then I started to kind of get back to normal.
Yeah. Were you talking to your mom quite a bit through all that? Like, were you kind of, having conversations with her a little bit about it too?
No, I didn't had any conversation with my mom. I always like can we talk later and something like this, because I think this after the concussion I was grow as a person, because I was just a hockey player from Kazakhstan who came up to US, just play some hockey. And right now, like looking back to all this stuff from this time, I think I can say that I was really grow as I'm more mature right now, because I did a head coach and I get back to Kazakhstan and working with younger girls. I did a kids camp in Kazakhstan. I did charity tournament. Right now I'm creating the new whole section, like hockey groups, I don't know, hockey team for younger girl. And I can tell that if I will be still just a hockey player, I wasn't able to grow like this. And I'm trying to just accept all this stuff.
No, totally, man. And this happens a lot though, where you have like a real bad experience, and right now we're talking about hockey, but you have a real bad experience in hockey, and some people take that, and you could have went the other way, where you could have just quit, got a job, and just been off as B instead of hockey player B.
Right.
And now, instead of that, you look back on it, and you're like, man, I grew a lot from that injury. I kind of put things in perspective. And I think sometimes you got to hit a little bit of rock bottom to get back up and say, okay, you know what? No, I'm more than that. And I love the fact that you said, you're more than just a hockey player, because when hockey does get taken away from you for whatever reason, a lot of people don't know how to deal with it. And for you, I think right now, if hockey gets taken away from you, you're still a coach, you're still an ambassador, you're still helping young girls out. And I think that is huge, is having more of an identity than just the game itself. The game's huge, and the game's obviously giving you a lot of opportunities, it's giving me a lot of opportunities, but I think, you got to think outside the game and what other impacts can you have, and what other, and also too, like you said, what about me? Like you want to do stuff that's fulfilling for you too, that you enjoy doing, right? Because, as you mentioned earlier, I think playing with all that pressure on you from, from your country and from the young girls
Yeah.
and everything. And now I'm sure you got people reaching out from everywhere saying, oh my God, I have a daughter that wants to play. I have a niece that wants to play. And you're like, it's probably overwhelming, man. So, for you now to be kind of that ambassador, and I love, what you're doing and I want to touch on that really quick, because now you've kind of come full circle where you're like, yeah, the hockey's awesome and that's been my vehicle, but now I want to help hockey. I want to help the girls in hockey. So in Kazakhstan right now, I'm assuming you're kind of trying to run like leagues for young girls, right? Like hockey schools and training and leagues and stuff like that, just to get girls more involved in the game, I'm assuming.
Yeah, the thing is like how it all started. I didn't had any plan to do it, but when I had this charity tournament for International Women's Day, I found out that we have like 20 or 15 girls who play hockey. They just play with boys. Some of them just play sometime like they going to private hockey school,
Right.
and their parents like invite me for a meeting and said, "Hey, Bulbul, please, can you just open up a team and we will invite lots of girls and let's do it." The problem was the first step. Problem was that government not that much interested on this type of sport, especially for women. And the Hockey Federation of Kazakhstan, they said like, yes, we want you to open and do all this stuff, but we don't have any financial stuff for for
Right.
your team.
Right.
So right now I'm trying to figure it out and do everything by myself, but for sure it will be a big step forward for women's hockey in Kazakhstan if we will open up something in capital city, because there's like 50, 60 girls who really want to play, but they that just don't have the ice, they don't have gear or locker rooms, they don't have a team.
Right.
That's why I want to do it.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, like that's great. Now, is there an opportunity there to get private funding, like funding through businesses or funding through families or things like that? And I know, because even up here in Canada, like hockey's not cheap, especially when you start thinking of going to an academy or playing on an elite team, like a travel team. It gets expensive really quick, right? So any way that we or anybody can cut costs on that for the families or the kids, I think that's huge, because that's the biggest problem with, I think, young girls, young boys in any country to get into the game that don't play. If you don't have the money or the means to do it, it's not easy. Right? It's not easy to play, right? So, is there opportunity there to get some funding through businesses or through companies or corporations or things like that?
So yeah, right now I'm working on documents that get everything legal, and then I'm going to push all people who I know from all over the world, like from Canada, from German, from US,
Yeah.
from Ukraine, from I don't know, everywhere where they have a hockey. And I want to just push everyone and say, hey, like I'm going to open up a team. Can you help? I don't know, maybe some country can send me sticks, maybe some country can send me helmets, maybe some country can like send me money, and I'm going to do something like this, because without support from people, I'm just Bulbul Kartanbay.
Yeah. 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 I think we all need a little support and a little bit of help for sure. There's no doubt. Yeah. Cause it's probably seems like a daunting task right now, but I think once you get the wheels on the bus and start moving it, I think you'll be surprised at how it'll kind of keep rolling. Right. And yeah, you get the right people involved and the right coaches and all that stuff. Then yeah, who knows, in 15, 20 years, you might have Kazakhstan playing for the gold medal in the Olympics, right? Who knows? You never know.
Who knows? You're
Yeah.
right.
So what's the plan for you moving forward then, B? So like now, obviously this year is weird and it really does suck for everybody as far as COVID and being stuck places. But what's the plan for you next year? Like as far as, are you going to be coaching? Are you going to be playing again? Are you kind of, what's your plan?
So the thing is, when I signed the contract with Princeton Tiger Lilies, all season I was in Kazakhstan. So all season I tried be in touch via Zoom,
Yeah.
but for right now, they told me like, if you wanna try yourself for the next year, you more than welcome. So hopefully season will start in September, and I'll get back to US.
Yeah.
But also, as a professional athlete, I would like to uh, try myself and join for a New Hampshire team for PWHPA.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. And is that kind of, so they'll have tryouts, I'm assuming, for that? Is that kind of how that would work at that level, right? Kind of in September.
Yeah, they will have a tryout. So this year I was in a roster, but I didn't had chance to go for a tryout and do all other stuff because of COVID and because of I'm stuck in Kazakhstan. But I think for the next year it should be like better. And in October or November, we will have an Olympic qualification for the national team in Italy. So I also will go there and let's see what will happen.
That's awesome. Oh, that's really, really good. Well, that's great, man. I listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I really, really appreciate you taking your time. I know that I think you've got a nice session later today that you're going to practice as well. But just really quickly, kind of leaving us here. But what's a day like in the life of B, like in living in Kazakhstan and stuff? Like, what's a normal day for you, like, or what's the ideal day for you? Like, what's the day kind of in the life?
So 3 times in a week, I'm going to gym every morning, and then I'm doing some meetings because I'm trying to create this a group for girls. I'm talking with hockey school owners. I'm talking with rink owners. I'm talking with some peoples, and like for right now, I'm in 100 new faces in Kazakhstan, like who will be give a speech in front of president, and I'm working on it. And I have lots of people who want to get interview, and and also I'm working on program like exchange experience between US and Kazakhstan.
Okay.
So I'm doing all this stuff all day, and then in the nighttime I have late night hockey.
Right.
So that's good. They're good right now. For right now, it's like all right schedule for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So you're not, you're not bored. You're not bored. You're keeping busy. I see. Right.
Yeah, but the great stuff is that I have even if rinks is shut down, I have a great opportunity to play some hockey 2 or 3 times in a week.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, that's really good. Well, I know up here in Canada, we're a little jealous because we have no access to ice up here right now, and where I am anyway, so it makes it a little more difficult. But
Yeah.
well, that's great. Well, listen, man, all the best to you, and we'll be definitely following you and seeing how things go. Hopefully, everything somewhat clears up, and you can get back over to the States and hopefully get a chance to play, and then the qualifier in the US or the qualifier in Italy. That'll be really, really cool as well. So
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. And I would like to share everywhere on social media this episode with all my followers.
yeah, for sure, man. So where can people find you? What do you check the most, or what are you kind of on the most?
So I have a webpage, cartonbay.com. There is all information about me, like my profile as an athlete, my resume, and all information about charity tournaments because it will be everywhere, every year. All information about this group, what I'm going to run, and all this stuff. And Instagram, obviously.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, that's great. I'll put that in the notes as well. So if anyone's checking out the notes, I'll make sure that all your information's in there as well, so people can check in with you for sure. That was awesome,
Okay.
man. Thank you very much, and all the best. Good luck with training and business and life, and getting over to the States again and hockey. You got a lot of stuff going on. It's good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Stay safe, be well at this, at this difficult time. I hope we will handle it and we'll do better than we can.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. We got to come out of this better than we went in, right? For sure.
All right, bye bye.
Okay, bye-bye. To kind of raise that bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps,
Huge strides in the performance.
that I might not be the player I am today.